So, lads, today we're going to be reacting to the top 10 WNBA free agents by CBS Sports and Jack Maloney. Before we get on to that, though, if you guys are new to the channel, subscribe. We're uploading, as you guys can see, a hell of a lot of videos. I'm working my ass off right now. And we're going to be live all for the first game of Unrivaled. So it should be an interesting week. But anyway, we're trying to hit 40.8k by the end of the day, and we are 37 subscribers off. So let's take a look. Let's zoom down to the bottom. And hopefully you guys didn't see that. And we can start from number 10. So, the website, obviously going through a bunch of ads here. So, they've got, here are these honorable mentions. So, Gabby Williams is an honorable mention. I think that Gabby Williams is a player that I would have definitely in my top 10. Natasha Howard, it's an interesting one with Howard because I think she's a decent vet. I think she's somebody that if all else flames out, the Fever are going to look for. I think teams that need a starting power forward right now, like I actually think there is not that much, there are not that many teams that would go out of their way to get her other than the Fever, because let's look at teams. Let's look at the standings. So, Liberty of Stewie, she's not going to start. Lynx of Fee, she's not going to start. The Connecticut Sun of Alyssa Thomas, if Alyssa Thomas stays. She could end up with the Sun if Thomas is gone. Aces have AJ right now. Maybe she signs for the Aces on a minimum. So it's like the Aces. I think the Storm have NECA, the Mercury. Depends on who they sign. If they go sign Alyssa Thomas, she's obviously not going there. She might end up going to the Mercury. The Dream, no. Maybe. The Mystics, no. The Sky, no. The Wings, no. The Sparks, no. So it's probably realistically for her between the Dream, the Aces, and the Fever. So I don't really know where she'll end up being, but I think she's gonna be like one of those targets where it's like 180 to 200k a year, where a team is like, oh, you know, we couldn't get our first choice. Let's go for a second choice in Natasha Howard. Then Tiffany Hayes, she's going back to LA or Vegas. Elena Deladon, no one has a clue. And then Kennedy Carter, no one has a clue. She is the most talented. She might be one of the 4 most talented free agents, but I have absolutely no idea. Like, because she hasn't really had any off-court issues, it seems, for a while, but it seems like the Sky just want to get rid of her, so it is interesting. Then you've got number 10, Dejanay. The Sun will match any contract for Dejanay Carrington. Heck, if Alyssa Thomas and DeWanna Bonner leave, I could see the Sun going out of their way to try and make Dejanay Carrington happy by just trading someone for an Alyssa Smith. They could give the Fever a Nelson Adoda. They could give the Fever a Veronica Burton. They're not going to give the Fever Ty Harris, but like, the Fever are probably going to look for that. But like, they could go and do some sort of a trade like that just to try to keep Dejanay happy. Dejanay Carrington is going to be the franchise player for the Connecticut Sun. She's one of the better free agents. She's an absolute lockdown defender, and she's also a improving shooter and improving offensive player. So yeah, 10, fair enough. DeWanna Bonner, I would consider Carrington a better free agent than Bonner. I think Carrington's better right now than Bonner. 37-year-old Bonner showed no signs of slowing down. At times, the reality of the situation is DeWanna Bonner had some real good games and she had some real bad games last year. And that's the big problem with DeWanna Bonner, is it was just consistency. Look, she's old. She's old. That's just the reality of the situation, is that there's nothing wrong with it. But she's 37. And if you're looking at her games, like, she wasn't that bad, I guess, in the playoffs. But like her first, went 4 of 17 and 5 of 15 in the first 2 playoff games. And then 4 of 13. Like, if you're looking like her shooting, she had 3 games in the playoff, in the semifinals, where she shot under 33% from the field, which isn't ideal. But obviously, look, an all-star last year, really good player, but I would still consider Dejanay to be better than her. Brittney Griner, but like, Brittney Griner is not leaving Phoenix. So fair enough, but I think it's a bit different when a player is 100% not leaving their team. Like, she's never going to leave Phoenix, and she obviously was shooting a little bit. I thought Griner was really good last year, especially when she first came back. When she first came back after maybe 10 or so games, I thought she looked really, really good. The problem is that she can't guard the pick and roll anymore. But she still had, 18 points a game on ridiculously good shooting. and obviously led the league in field goal percentage. Like I thought Griner was still pretty good last year. I think she'll be good for another couple of years. Bri Jones, no. I'm sorry, Bri Jones is how she made an all-star team last year is beyond me. Like Bri Jones, she had first, like these are the playoffs. She had one game where she had 21. 6, 2, 7. Like, she can't shoot. She's not a good free throw shooter. She lost a step. She very much lost a step. She's getting on 30 now. And, like, she's going to cost you a max. No. Neko Wumake at 6, fair enough. Like, you could argue she's one of the 6. You could maybe argue she's the 6th player in the entire league. But obviously, she's not going anywhere but Seattle. She's made that clear. And that's fine, obviously, with the nonsense stuff that's been happening around her. It's, yeah, it is what it is. Then Kelsey Mitchell at 5. I would put Kelsey Mitchell higher. To be fair, it depends on the team. Like, I think Kelsey Mitchell at 5 is fair enough, but I think if you're the Fever, Kelsey Mitchell might be number 1. Because, like, there is still, like, a bit of a fright that potentially Kelsey Mitchell could be leaving, which would be super tricky for the Fever to deal with. Like, I think the Fever will really struggle to deal if Kelsey Mitchell leaves. Unless, of course, the, of course, the Kelsey trade happens. That's the only way Fever can get like for like back for Kelsey Mitchell. But, like, the Fever want Kelsey Mitchell over Kelsey Plum. So, Satu at 4. Did they have Kelsey Plum ahead of Satu? That's mad. If there's a guarantee she's going to be healthy, you can make an argument she's 2 on the list. Health remains a concern. I think she's number 1 because she's 100% said she wants to leave. She has 100% said that she does not want to play for the Dallas Wings anymore, and she's done. So she is the biggest player there. And obviously she was limited to 15 games due to shoulder surgery. She hasn't hit the 100-game mark despite being drafted in 2020 and has made 17 or fewer appearances in 4 or 5 seasons. She's on the floor. She's one of the most versatile dynamic forwards in the league. But I think that like the shoulder surgery is a freak injury. Last year was a freak injury. And I don't think you can prepare for freak injuries. Like, that can happen to anybody. Kelsey Plum at 3rd. It didn't go to plan for Plum, but the Aces 3-peat bid came to an end in the semi-finals. The Aces struggled. But obviously the off-the-court issues for Plum are the main things with her. It's not necessarily how she is on the floor. Because I think on the floor, I thought she was pretty good. I genuinely think she was pretty good last season. I thought she was better than people said in the Olympics. I do want to admit that. Like, I do think she was way better than people said. I thought she did a good job in the final. She did a good job full court pressing people. She's a bit of a pest on defense. But still top 10 in the league in scoring, so it wasn't too bad. Alyssa Thomas at 2. I'm much lower on Alyssa Thomas than most people. Like, I like Alyssa Thomas, but like, I think she's like the 15th best player in the league, not the 3rd best player in the league. I didn't think she was the best player on the Connecticut Sun last year. But I put DeJounte probably over Alyssa Thomas. At the same time, like, putting her above Satu is kind of crazy. But it is interesting to see if she wants to leave. Obviously, all but 3 players are hitting free agency with the Sun. No one really knows what's going to happen with Connecticut. But if Alyssa Thomas leaves, they might as well just... Because if Alyssa Thomas leaves, Bonner leaves. They're a package deal. So if Alyssa Thomas leaves, you may as well just get rid of both of them and make sure that they're... make sure that they go into tank mode. I'm not even sure if they have their pick next year, though, do they? Either way, though, Breanna Stewart, number 1, obviously. Breanna Stewart's not leaving. She's made that clear. She's not leaving, and she's just been courted. There is a 0% chance Breanna Stewart leaves. So, in my opinion, the best free agent that is guaranteed to leave is Satu. The best free agent that could possibly leave is Kelsey Mitchell. And obviously, Kelsey Plum is the wild card because obviously stepping away from Unrivaled for non-basketball reasons, like, no one really knows what's happening with Kelsey Plum, which obviously makes the entire situation 100 times more interesting, but it makes it 100 times less, like, certain, to be honest. So, yeah, that is the video. Thank you guys for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe.